Hello and welcome to Let's Dance with Charlotte Elizabeth. That's me. So this podcast is going to cover everything from dance, health, fitness. I will include how to prepare for your first dance for your wedding or using that kind of scenario for special occasions. There will be planning hen parties and ideas for planning hen parties, but the main focus of this podcast is dance. I am the owner of Feel the Beats UK, and I'm going to get you all moving. So let's get on with the show.
Hello and welcome back. So you'll notice that there's been a bit of a gap, and there's been good reason for that. As ever, I've been busy, not knowing what to say, and unsure what direction I was going in. Things were getting a little bit intense, a little bit too much, a little bit overwhelmed, and all that jazz. So I took a pause because again, and we need to every now and then. And in doing that, it's given me the brain space to think about where I want this podcast to go for starters, because I don't know who listens. That's the beauty. That is the thing about it of I literally have no idea if anyone listens to this. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with the mic. Nope, you are on. Again, I don't even know if the sound quality is any better by having a mic compared to using the laptop mic. So anyway, but yeah, I wasn't really sure what direction I was taking in because I don't just do dance. I don't just do weddings. I do a mixture. I've been doing the 6-week line dance course, which has just finished. I'm getting ready to do block 2. And all the things like my day job has been intense. I feel like I've done nothing but ship to Canada for since January, which is good because they're busy, and they're getting to quiet down so then I can focus on my other export customers. But it's been intense, and I'm getting ready to move house. Like it's all the things all at once. So I needed to pause. And in particular, because the end of Feb, trigger warning, the end of Feb was the anniversary of my mum's partner committing suicide last year. And that's kind of as much as I'm going to say, but yeah, trigger warning. So I needed to sit with that because we've got more questions than answers, as always. And I realized that March last year was a pivotal moment for me because I completely 360'd my business. I started work with the now employer. Um, yeah, it was a season of change. And March this year is a season of change. So March seems to be my pivotal moment. Um, Considering I've always kind of worked in academic years up until now, March is my season. I think I'm putting it out there. I think March is my season. So this March, I'm 3 months into being the export manager. My business is I'm taking the pressure off. I'm having fun with it. I'm experimenting. Um, I'm reworking how I blend everything together. So you will see some changes in the podcast. You've probably, if you're paying attention, you will have noticed that the cover image has changed again to reflect that. My social content will be changing. So that's all kind of changing. And like I say, we're moving house. So massive season of change. So we're moving from this 2-bed flat, blurry background, to a 2-bed house. And it's ours. And we get to do all the things to it. And with Viva MK in particular, we've got some new things coming out. And I'm like, oh my God, I can have that for my house. I can have it because I'm going to have a garden. Like, the sunny weather is coming, and I'll get to go and sit out with a cup of tea on a Saturday morning in my garden. Not just, oh, I can open a window because it's warm. I get to go and sit in a garden that's mine. I cannot wait. There's so many things. And so, yeah, March is my season of change. And I guess my message for you, because this podcast isn't necessarily teaching you anything, and each episode isn't necessarily going to teach you anything, it is kind of my life lessons, the things I've learned along the way, the things I'm up to. It's kind of almost a diary podcast, with a few lessons and sales thrown in, because that's just how I roll. But my lesson and tip kind of for you is, if you're not where you want to be, it's never too late. Like, look at me. A year ago, I 360'd my whole business from being a wedding and event planner to go back to dance, which is the thing I have always done. And I'm still making changes. And it's okay. Nothing is set in stone until we're in that box. So, if you're not where you want to be, make the change. And it doesn't have to be as drastic as 360ing a business if that's not what you need, but you need some change. It could be as simple as changing your job. I never realised how much changing my job was going to have an effect. So initially I took a pay cut. I was working less hours because it was 9 to 5 with an hour lunch. So yes, it was still 5 days a week and full time, but it wasn't a 40-hour week. And I still don't do a 40-hour week. I'm 8 till 4 with an hour lunch. I didn't know how much that was going to make a drastic change to my mental health. It kind of, yeah, my mental health. Like, I really wasn't happy at the old job, and no one was really clocking and wanting to, how can we help? How do we keep you? My decision was made. There was nothing they could have done to have kept me because I needed out. So that was, and I've had people comment, they're going, oh my God, I've seen the change in you. Like, this job has been so good for you. And 4 months later, you get a massive promotion. Like, it's that, like, no day is the same. I never, to a degree, unless I know I've got shipments going out, I never know what I'm going into work to do. Like, I do, but I don't. Like, it depends on my inbox. It depends on what orders have come in, what requests. I've got the variety. And I've got my joy back, which has allowed me to be able to have the joy for my business. So it is never too late to make a change. So that is my lesson for you, that March is my season of change. You will gradually see eventually the blurry background. I've deliberately hidden a blurry background because obviously we're packing. But eventually you'll have a better background. And apologies for those that just listen and can't see the background. You'll just have to imagine a messy background, and eventually I will have an unmessy background. But yeah, season of change. It's never too late. And go and have fun. Just go and have fun, because life is way too short. Life is way, way, way too short. And in fact, one of the items that I've seen at Viva MK, I'm probably going to buy just as a memory of my brother-in-law, because I instantly thought of him. Maybe that'll be spoken about in next week's podcast, because it's so cute. It's so cute. I'm going to have to tell you now because, yeah. So it's a wooden duck. A wooden duck in welly boots. Do you remember how years ago everyone had those wooden ducks? So we've got one, and it's got a bee print on it. And he had this thing about ducks because my mum has ducks, or what kind of did in our old house. And it used to sit in our downstairs loo. And he always had to turn it around when he went to the loo. So we had to buy him one for Christmas, and we got it personalised, and it was like, I'm still watching you. So I instantly thought of him, and I was like, I get to have a duck in my garden and remember him who won't get to see my garden. And that's not a euphemism at all. But he won't get to see my garden because he died at 42. So life is too short. Go and have fun, be amazing human beings, and I'll see you on next week's podcast when who knows what I'll be talking about.